All right, what's up, guys? We are live. This is Race Talk. Today, I'm joined by my two co-hosts, Austin and John. What's up, guys? How are you guys doing today?
I'm doing all right. How about you?
I'm
Not
doing
too
pretty good. How
bad,
about you?
man. Pretty good. So, John, how you feeling after being nearly run over by Bailey Curry?
Well, I think, oh, it's just hood surfing. I'm fine. I, I was a little sore the next day. My ankle kind of bugged me.
Mhm.
Nothing big. Nothing, you know, nothing that I ain't been through before. It's my third time. So
I
I
feel
was,
it. So, go
I was,
ahead.
I was like, what, maybe 10 pit stops down?
yeah,
Uh-huh.
I climbed over the bar, and for some reason, I just looked up pit road and I saw a tire flying down pit road. I, I got stuck. Lived that
So that yeah, sorry then. Yeah, that yeah, last week's podcast ended up turning into the Samantha Tane interview, which that interview, I believe it or not, was like a really good one. Like I got almost 100 views on YouTube for that one.
heck yeah.
yeah, that's good. I watched part of it. It was a good interview. It's good insight and stuff.
Oh yeah, and it's like there was like I had never really heard of the 24/8 series before.
Yeah. Same for me. I didn't. There's so many racing series out there. It's hard to keep
It
track of them.
really it really is it really is. You got F1, IndyCar, NASCAR, ARCA, all that good stuff. So I was reading earlier where it said that hang on. Says over here, like on NASCAR first alerts, it said that NASCAR has officially announced the suspension of Micah Horton for violating the sports member conduct policy. I didn't even know there was a sports member conduct policy. I guess he had been a crew member for Joe Gibbs Racing and Colleague Racing in the Xfinity series.
Yeah, I don't know. I hadn't heard that yet.
That was weird. I'm like, okay.
I ain't never heard nothing like it.
Yeah. And I seen where also where Todd Gordon said he'll announce his retirement at the end of the 2021 season. Isn't he he's Logano's crew chief, isn't he?
Uh, yeah, I think they all switched around last year, the year before last. So I couldn't remember. I knew he
Uh-huh.
was a Penske crew chief.
Mm,
Uh, but they'd all swapped around. But it's not terribly surprising to hear that. I mean, he's been on the grind for a while, and I mean that's what racing is. It's a grind. It never stops. So people like to get out and you know enjoy enjoy some life away from the racetrack. He's not terribly old, and he's still really good at his job. But
mm,
but you know, basically 40 weeks out of the year, you're working 100 hours a week and under a microscope and all that stuff and the pressures of the job.
mm-hmm.
I don't blame
Yeah.
him for getting ready to get out of it. And it's good that he given enough time to like go ahead and announce it and you know, let people get in. Let them put the people in place to keep the race team on the same level.
True. Cause like when I seen that, and then on top of that, I think it was like last week that possible Roush Fenway Keselowski racing for next year. That was I was like, wow.
Yes, I don't know. I've always felt like because he had his truck team and
Yeah,
he and,
that was
and
a
he
great that was a great truck team. Very successful.
yeah, but he said that he was it cost him more to be that successful than what he made in the truck series.
Right.
But he always wanted to. I think he's always had that want to have an ownership role, and just like with Todd Gordon and other
Mm-hmm.
people, he's far from old, but you got to plan for the future, and
Yeah.
he wants a future in the sport. So
Right.
it's good. It's a good time because I mean, Jack's gonna. He's mentioned several times he's ready to step back from doing everything.
Right, because he's been doing it for a long time. Because he had like Mark Martin, Ryan Newman, Kurt Busch. No, that's not right. Yeah, that's right. 97 car.
Yeah, he had Kurt.
Carl Edwards. A lot of great guys. Jeff Burton. A lot of those good guys that are retired now. Speaking of Kurt Busch, I'm not sure. Like, I'm trying to figure out if he's going to be in a second 2311 car, or if he's just going to hang it up. I know there's been teases and stuff about his future for 2022.
Yeah, I think it's going to come down to if he gets a good deal, like something where he feels like he can be competitive.
Yeah,
and that kind of thing. He doesn't have anything else to prove. Overall, he's won in every car he's ever been in.
That's true.
With the exception of those few, before Furniture Row was winning races and championships, he was getting them their best finishes. And
he was
Phoenix Racing. I mean, I think he finished third with a broken truck arm. So the rear end was shifting around on him, and I mean, he's a heck of a talent.
He is,
and he's
fantastic driver.
Yeah, and he has nothing really left to prove.
Right. I mean, he's the inaugural Nextel Cup champion. I mean, that once you win that just puts a significant on your career. You win a championship. That puts significance on there. Yep.
He's won that, won the 500. He's won a bunch of races, and like I said, every good team he's been with, he's won.
Yeah. I tell you what, when he won that Daytona 500, I was just in awe. I was like, this was like, it kind of brought tears to my eyes because I'm like, wow, look at this. Kurt Busch finally wins the 500, and he wins it before his brother.
Yeah. He I don't know. He's like I said, he's talented. I mean, it was crazy. It took him that long on a restrictor plate track to win. But that's just Daytona and Talladega. It's 70% luck, 30% talent there.
Yeah. Now I know Saturday's race, I for sure thought Larson had that. When his tire blew coming out of turn 3, I was like, holy moly, it's a J.R. Hildebrand moment from the Indy 500 in 2011.
Yeah. And it's kind of funny because it also reminded me of Jeremy Mayfield back. I don't remember what year it was.
I think it was 2000. I think with Earnhardt.
No, it was like the year after that. Whenever he blew a tire going into turn 3, and Rusty Wallace.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Rusty Wallace, his teammate passed him and won the race, and that's just one of that's why racing's as exciting as it is, because in a football game, once a team's up 42 points, there ain't no point in watching the rest of it. You know how it's going to go.
Right.
But racing, it can come down to the last turn sometimes.
It really can. Definitely can, especially in now SRX. Come on, Tony. Let other people win now. Stop hogging it up.
Yeah.
Time I got to drive on in 5 years. 5 or 6.
Yeah.
I had Saturday.
He was a Tony Stewart fan forever.
Hey, Smoke, hey, that man's a legend.
Yeah. I'm ready to fight Paul Tracy now, but I grew up a LeBron fan, so that man was a dart with no feathers last weekend. Sometimes you drive over your head, I guess.
See, the thing with Paul Tracy, it's like, I will never forget it. It was the 2002 Indianapolis 500 when that caution flew, and to this day, he still says he won that race when he was not a lead when the caution flag came out. Ever since then, I'm just like, when he kept saying this, like, I have not really been a big fan of Paul Tracy over the years. Very dirty driver, in my opinion.
Yeah, I never really followed a lot of open wheel stuff, I'd heard his name. I mean, he's one of those. he's a big enough name. He transcends just open wheel racing. But that was the first time ever like watching him, and it was funny because they built it up like during the little interviews. They built it up like getting Paul Tracy and stuff like that before the race even happened, and then he went out there and wrecked half the field. So I guess they knew what they were talking about.
True. And then I gotta say, I'm impressed with Haley Diggin. That second place finish at Knoxville, impressive.
Yeah, she's always been decent on dirt. I think she won an
She
ARCA race
has.
on dirt.
She did Las Vegas.
Yeah, so she.
Well, it wasn't ARCA. It was it was the Canaan Pro Series before it took over to ARCA. But she won that. That was her first race, that Vegas dirt race.
Yeah.
I know with Knoxville coming up, not this weekend, but the following weekend, she should do really good at that track. She might end up getting her first win at that track. You never know. Anything can happen in dirt racing.
Yeah, she's got good equipment and a pretty good crew chief. I worked for his dad 4 or 5 years ago.
Nice.
So he's they should put a good piece on the track for and her having her having kind of I guess a predisposition, whatever the word is for it to dirt. I mean that's
Yeah, and I mean she's had some pretty good finishes this year. She's only had like maybe 2 DNFs or something, but no, she's having a fantastic year. I mean DGRs. David Gillen, he's doing the best he can with his equipment. I know it was Ryan Priest. Ryan Priest won Nashville. Was it Nashville?
Yeah, he won. That was his first start. Yeah.
I'd say, and I think I see something yesterday where Ryan Priest and JTG plans on running the remainder of the races. Because I know they are.
They sold their charter.
Yeah, so I think they sold it to. I think they sold their charter to GMS. I think for next year, or it's either colleague.
Or they leased it out or something. They were doing something.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And
we lost Austin. Where'd he go? There we go. He's coming back.
Thumb hit the wrong button somewhere.
Hey, it happens, buddy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah, they probably. I know they said it was a sponsorship thing. The charter, what they would get paid for the charter wasn't enough to justify if they were
right
sponsored. So I'm sure that they've had decent runs and JTG's always been great at getting.
Definitely
getting sponsors.
Yeah, Kroger, Kellogg, not Kellogg's, Kleenex, Clorox, bleach, all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell you what, they're very successful.
Oh yeah, yeah, man.
And I'm impressed with Trackhouse this year.
Yeah, they've done all right. I saw a thing recently where they're going to have to work on getting a charter because the one they leased, you're only allowed to lease them for like 1 year at a time or something.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to have to come up with another charter for next year. Which part of that for me is why I don't like the charter system. Kind of understood the philosophy behind it, but I've never liked it. To me, it's if you're trying to build a sport, you don't limit what people can make that are trying to make their way into the sport. And I hate it that NASCAR went a while and they had short fields, and then you're going to racetracks and starting 40 cars, 40 trucks and all that stuff without qualifying. But then you have qualifying, you dip it down to 36. 30. I think it's 36 for truck and Xfinity. And it's like
I missed the guys. Like I missed like those 43 car fields and stuff like that. Now you barely even have 40 cars now.
Yeah, but to me, if 40 show up, I don't know why you don't let them race because,
true.
You're you went through that spell where you didn't have enough cars showing up. Now you've got enough cars showing up, and you're sending them home. I don't know what you gain by sending, because it's always a little guy that goes home.
Oh
You're
yeah.
you're not sending home, William Byron because he spun out in qualifying and whatever.
Right.
You're sending home Chad Fincham because he's running a motor that's got 10 races on it already or something.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're to me. I mean, back in the day, whenever they used to have the really big fields, you would see Ford Burton getting sent home with Bill Davis, and Bill Davis wasn't a chump race team.
Mm-mm.
And, like you'd see stuff like that. So it was kind of like, well, this makes sense, but
Yeah.
the or that it's fair. But now it's just because of the charter system and the way NASCAR's done stuff. Like it's just it doesn't feel fair. Like
I agree, John. Like, because I know in the Xfinity Series this weekend, Joe Gibbs has 5 cars.
Yeah.
And then Thor Sport has their 5 trucks. I feel like if Truck doesn't have the charter system and Xfinity doesn't have the charter system, why would the Cup do that? I know they're trying to save money wise, but a lot of these charters, it's like you got a lot of good guys that could possibly not be able to race because they don't have the funding for it.
Yeah, and the charter system was based on they want to give the owners something that's of value. And so they're giving them more money to have a charter. You're guaranteed into races. It's supposed to make it where because you have a charter, you can go and sell sponsorship because you're guaranteed in the race,
right?
And stuff like that. So like it was on a good basis, but like on paper anyway. But as far as it actually working, it was never going to build the sport. It wasn't going to make the sport stronger from top to bottom. The rich were going to get richer. So, bug flew in my drink.
I know. Let's see. Now I know, like when it comes to sponsors, I know Sheldon Creed. He's running every week. Barely has a sponsor. You're defending champion. Like somebody sponsor that man.
Yeah. I mean they've got, which that's part of it. They're there was that thing that came out where Camping World said, well, we offered the sponsoring, but what Camping World's paying. I love what Camping World and markets are doing for the sport. Like I do.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But when you're running one of those teams, $10,000 or $5,000 or whatever, that $5,000 is 2 sets of tires to a small team.
Definitely.
But to a team like GMS that's spending $50,000 to go to the racetrack, $10,000, $5,000 is a drop in the bucket, and they're going there to win. And if you show like, hey, I can put, I'm willing to put a name on my truck for $5,000 or $10,000 or whatever, then it kind of devalues like the next guy that's going to come offer you a sponsorship is going to expect to get sponsorship for that amount of money. And
right.
So I understand them. Like I know they've probably got offers, but they got a number they want to have or got to have.
Right. And I'm asking myself, with GMS going to Cup next year, who's going to be that driver? I'm thinking it might be Sheldon Creed. I mean, he's a heck of a driver. I'd say he deserves a nice Cup ride next year.
Yeah, he's good. I don't know. I haven't heard a whole lot from GMS as far as those plans go. Excited to see. Always nice to see new teams move up.
Oh, definitely. And then you got.
I was gonna say the more teams are moving up, I keep hearing Honda's doing something. So it'll be.
I wouldn't be surprised because Honda runs in the IndyCar series right now with Chevrolet.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised. I know Nissan's out there. Honda. I'd like to see Dodge return.
Yeah. Problem Dodge. Whenever the Dodge sold to Fiat,
Hmm.
the owner of Fiat just had no interest in racing. NASCAR, because NASCAR, I mean, overseas NASCAR isn't nearly the pull. He was a big in soccer, I think, is what they said he was.
Hmm.
So it was he's a I'd like to see Dodge back. I mean, anybody that's been a part of the sport for a while thinks it'd be cool, but I don't blame them.
Oh, most definitely. Oh, most definitely. Like I love like seeing like when Penske announced that they were switching to Ford. I'm like, you know what? And I was like, that's an nail in the coffin. Dodge is leaving.
Yeah,
Sure enough, after that announcement, Dodge left.
yeah. They didn't have anybody else that really could compete. You know,
True.
I mean, the teams that were left to choose from were middle of the pack teams, and
Hmm.
they didn't have that flagship team anymore. So yeah, I mean that was definitely the nail in the coffin. But like I said, it didn't help that the owner of Fiat just didn't care for racing.
Right. But yet, Fiat has a few cars in the V8 series.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like I said, I think it was more of a NASCAR thing. They didn't because
Right.
NASCAR's. I mean, you got your different series in Canada and Mexico and stuff like that, but overseas and they don't have quite the uh they're not as marketable over there.
Right, because overseas you got down in Australia you got the V8 supercars, you got over in England, you got Formula One, Formula Two, you got the E series, those electric car series. Speaking of electric car series, I've seen where Roger Penske or something had mentioned, it was either Roger Penske or somebody mentioned that NASCAR would possibly do an all electric enhanced series, and I'm like, no, 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 don't do that, don't do that.
It doesn't surprise me. I mean, part of the point of them changing the car was to make it more, the 15 inch. Yeah,
Van coming back home from Pocono, probably another 10, 15 years.
yeah. The 15-inch rims, going up to 20-inch rims and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That was all to make it look more like your commercial, like what you buy on a car now, and
Mm-hmm.
and all that stuff that they're doing is to make it more, the it's to make it more street like. So if
Oh
cars start
yeah.
going primarily electric, I definitely see NASCAR going right along.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I mean, I've, I've saw some of those. I've saw some of those electric races last year during, pandemic was hardly anything to watch.
Yeah,
With the pandemic and stuff going on last year, hardly race. I watched it. I'm just like, I'm trying to stay awake, trying not to fall asleep, and I'm like, you know what? They're too quiet. They're way too quiet.
yeah,
It's like
yeah,
a sounds like wind.
yeah. I don't think I've ever watched a race with that. I've heard that like they run half a race and then they'll have to switch cars because the battery just takes so long to charge. They basically run
Hmm.
like two cars every race.
Yeah.
I don't know how true that is.
I'm I'm not sure. I don't really follow Formula E or the E's touring car series, whatever the heck you call it.
Yeah. Yeah, heck, if we went to electric, Austin would have to figure out how to hook up a battery.
Click on the seats and crank it up.
uh, now on, you said what, Austin?
Have to buy a practice. with the electric.
True. No, those yeah, these last two races were good. Nashville was fun to watch. That was fun to watch. Not
Yeah.
gonna lie.
I can't remember if I watched the Cup race in Nashville. Huh. Weeks run together. I was kind of in a fog the next day after playing professional Frogger and failing. But yeah, I mean, Nashville wasn't a bad show. I think they learned a lot about their brake packages.
Mhm. Oh man, yeah, I heard that Nashville was killer on brakes.
Yeah, it's that odd that it's not a short track,
Mhm.
but it's the radius of the corners is so tight. I mean, they're using their
Mhm.
brakes like crazy, and I think that a lot of them brought they either didn't run brake ducts, so they didn't have any cooling going to the brakes, and that cooked the brakes. And other ones they put uh put brake ducts in, but they didn't run uh they didn't run like short track brakes, the calipers and your rotors and all that for weight. They run more of an intermediate, and they don't disperse the heat as well. So even with the brake ducts, they were building so much heat. They were, it was cooking the seals and the calipers, or even I think one car blew up a caliper or rotor.
Damn.
I can't remember. I think I heard that one of them, a rotor, like pieces of the rotor were coming off. I can't remember which car it was right before they wrecked. And that's
Mhm.
just from heat. That's excess heat, causing the rotor to fail.
Oh man. Now Poconos, I'm not really a big fan of Pocono to be honest. I mean, I enjoyed watching. I mean, I watched a little bit of the truck race. And who won that again?
Yeah, John Hunter.
That's right. John Hunter Nemechek's having a great year.
Oh yeah, he's another one of those like Kyle Larson. He's a talent. You put him in stuff that can win, he'll win with it.
Oh, definitely. Because I don't think he won with Nimco, did he? Actually, I think he won twice with
Yeah, he
with
won a few. Yeah, he won a few with them. I can't remember exactly how many, but yeah, back when there was an 8 truck, he won with them.
Mhm.
He had to pass old boss man to win the truck series or truck race Saturday.
Yeah, still messed up by having a race on Saturday and Sunday.
My clock.
Yeah, it's like my.
I was gonna say I was in Pocono for 5 days. I've seen enough of Pocono.
Right, because you was there for the ARCA test, wasn't you?
Yeah, the ARCA test, ARCA race, and then truck and Xfinity. So it was a long week.
When it comes to ARCA, we already know who's going to win that race.
It's pretty simple. It's gonna be one of about 4 cars.
Right. I got Ty Gibbs though. He's got talent. He is a hell of a driver.
Yeah, I said which he actually didn't win this week, surprisingly. The 20 Venturini car did. Corey Hine.
Yeah.
But he, yeah, I mean, you just got 2 race teams that are on a whole different budget than the rest of the series there.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I mean, he ran good in the Xfinity race too, though. So I mean, he's got the talent. It's just ARCA. It's hard for me to compare a $5 million budget to a $50,000 budget.
True. I mean, you said Haim won that race on Saturday, or was it Friday or Saturday for the ARCA?
On Friday, yeah, he won he wound up. I think I got a couple friends that work over there. Said that Corey's get up, like coming back or restart lap, he could just take off faster than them.
Mm-hmm.
But they would level out, within 2 or 3 laps, and run the same lap speeds, but you're not catching them if you're running the same speed. So, so Corey would get out to, a half-second lead or whatever in the first couple laps, and then Corey that last the 20 car that last restart, he run him down and kept him right there, and then whenever he got in front of him, they were close enough that he couldn't get back around him.
Yeah, I had missed it. I don't really pay attention to ARCA that much. Now, last year I watched a lot of ARCA last year because of Deegan.
Yeah.
But I noticed that Michael Self isn't racing this year.
Yeah.
Because I know he's got Drew Dollar in his
in the 15.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what that's. I don't know what that's about. I don't follow a lot of ARCA. There's a couple teams there that whenever they're at the track, I go work for them, help them out, that kind of stuff. And
I'm trying to get from Young's Motorsports. I'm trying to get Tony Breedgrinder on how do you say her dang on name? Tony her onto the show at some point.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. And then I know, yep. And I have a buddy of mine joining us. We're going to talk F1.
Okay.
What's going on, Xavier? Having some issues here. But over the weekend, they were in Austria for the second race, I believe. I'm not sure. And I know Max Verstappen won that race. Lewis Hamilton hasn't been doing so well the last few weeks.
Yeah, I don't know. Him and Mercedes didn't seem like they. I don't know. He didn't sign his contract till way late. And I kind of wonder if there's not some kind of, some ruffled feathers somewhere. I wish Lewis Hamilton would come to NASCAR.
I agree. Hey, he's a hell of a driver.
Yeah, and I think because he's made references like with NASCAR and stuff, and that it's something he would be interested in doing whenever he was older. And
yeah, because I know him. Because I know him and Tony Stewart did that swap and paint and stuff.
Yeah, and
at Watkins Glen a few years ago.
And I'd like to see him, still kind of in his prime and young enough to learn a new trick and see what he could do.
I mean, what more does he? I mean, what more does he need to accomplish in F1? He's won 7 championships. What more does he need? What more does he need to accomplish?
Yeah, I think he's won over half the races he's started. Seems like here in the last few years.
Yeah, and I know. Well, I know it's like you got these F1 guys that wants to come over to IndyCar and stuff like that. I mean, Fernando Alonso did it. Almost won the 5 seat. He almost won the 520 at 17. I was actually at that. Was it 2017 or 2015? I think it was 2015. It was 2015. One of those two. I was there, and I was like, okay, I'm going to see, what's his name? I'm going to see him win. So, okay, something's not right here. But there's a lot of guys that I think that would do well in NASCAR. I know Montoya tried it. He's got 3. No, he hit the jet. Oh, that's Mr. Jet Dryer hitter.
Yeah, he was hit and miss. He was good on road courses and good at Indy, but I think he had a really good run at Richmond several years back. But yeah, he was never. Ganassi to me is second level equipment. It's second level equipment, like to your front running Chevy teams. Like they're like second on the pecking order, behind your Hendrick Motorsports, and I don't know. I think them and RCR are kind of on the same level. But so I don't know what he would have done if he'd have been in better equipment. But he But yeah, he was decent. Christian Fittipaldi, he did some stuff with Petty for a couple years, and he was
Oh yeah, it was the
I don't,
44. I think it was
the
the
40,
44
the
car. I
43.
think
I think he did the
43.
43. I think before Bobby Labonte went over there,
Okay.
and they were I don't know. Petty was he didn't do any. He was kind of like Bubba. I think he didn't do any better, or any worse than what the equipment was going to do for him anyway over there.
Speaking of Bubba, he got that top 5 finish for 2311 in a fuel mileage race.
Yeah, I like fuel mileage racing. To me, it's a whole different level of strategy.
Right, because are you going to win or are you going to lose?
Yeah, it comes down to saving fuel, knowing how far you can, how long to drag your feet before you turn the driver loose to go get what he can get, and just all of it. To me, it makes it a, I mean, it's just part of it being a team sport. The engineers and the crew chiefs and all that stuff doing all their calculations, and it's
whole lot
half lap short. Takes you from first to thank you to first to 30, 31st, however far back.
Yeah, because I remember it was IndyCar over in Japan. I believe it was the second to last race at Motegi, Japan. Helio Castroneves was winning that race. He ran out of fuel, which gave it over to Danica Patrick, who got her first and only IndyCar win.
Yeah, and people say what they want about fuel mileage races.
I think they're fun.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's just like any other race. If the leader, Michael Waltrip at Nashville several years ago, the 4 cars in front of him wrecked, well, he had to be in 5th to win it. So to me, fuel mileage is you got to be in the right place at the right time to get, to be able to take advantage of a fuel mileage race.
Yeah.
So to me, it's just as earned of a win as going out there and leading 75% of the laps. You put yourself in the right spot at the right time to do what you needed to do. And that goes across the board. I mean, Bubba had to be there to get a top 5, so I can't knock him for it.
And I tell you, like that win's coming.
Well, I mean, I think it'll be next year.
Oh yeah.
Next year, everything will kind of even out.
In the playoffs, I'm gonna call it. I don't know. Playoffs. On the track.
Sure. Speaking of playoffs, I think the cutoff is. Hang on, I know I got the. I seen it up here earlier.
7 races away, I think.
8.
Let's see. Yeah, there's a quote on here from Ryan Preece just after yesterday. He said, "I think we're planning on running all the races. That's the plan." That's what Ryan Preece said after he's going to finish out the year in a 37 car.
Yeah, which I'm glad to see. Like I said, I mean, I don't want to see any teams struggling right now to make it. To me, the more teams that show up, the stronger the sport is, the better product you put on the track. I mean, it's if we cut it down to 20 teams and they're all equal, it's gonna be to me like the F1. F1, occasionally you have that guy that comes from the back to get a podium finish, but they're basically your 20 cars, 20 best, and it's most of the time gaining 3 or 4 spots over the course of a race is impressive. In F1 here in NASCAR, if you got 40 cars on the track and you got to go to the rear, you still got to pass. Even if you're Kyle Larson, you still got to pass all those cars. So,
right. I mean, I was waiting for I'm pretty sure a lot of Carl Larson fans are waiting for Kyle Busch to run out of gas. And on top of that, he had no clutch, stuck in fourth gear. That's impressive. Reminds me of when Jeff Gordon won with no power steering at Martinsville.
Yeah, I think that stuck in fourth helped. And having, I think it helped him save fuel, which he stopped a lap later too. I think.
Mm-hmm.
We were on the way home. I think probably 30 minutes before the race started, we were in the van pointing south. So
I didn't even know that he was stuck in fourth.
Yeah, I tried to watch a little bit of highlights just to be able to talk about it.
Yeah, when Kyle was being interviewed, he said, "Can you ask Bubba Wallace to DoorDash me a tow truck?" Next thing you know, here comes a push truck.
Yeah, yeah. That's sometimes you gotta be lucky when things break.
Now, I don't know if you guys seen it or not. This is gonna close out the show for today. But let's see. iRacing. It says here that NASCAR and iRacing agreed on renewed their partnership, and on top of that, it becomes the official partnership. So, as it looks, the NASCAR series, which is live on iRacing, I love watching that iRacing stuff.
Oh, I do too.
Yeah. So it looks like that, and I love this iInvitational.
Yes, I like how they can go to tracks like the street course in Chicago and all that stuff, and go put on a show and kind of see how it would be in the real world, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And I enjoy it. I've never gotten to do a whole lot of iRacing.
I haven't done it yet. I'd like to someday, because I do like a lot of like F1 2020 or Project Cars 2, stuff like that. Of course, NASCAR Heat, but not really iRacing. I'd like to one day.
Yeah. To me, it'd be definitely. I mean, it's fun. Something I would like if I had the time and a computer and all that stuff to be able to do it. To me, it's a lot of fun. Like I was saying, we were out in Fontana a few years back. I was working with Timmy and Chad Fincham, and Timmy Hill logged into. There was a rig there, and he logged into his iRacing account, and we did a little bit of just we didn't go race. I wasn't trying to mess up his scores and all that stuff, but I went and drove like Bristol or something just to see how it was, and I'm not as good at iRacing as I am the PlayStation.
What's up, Xavier?
What's up?
So, we were just talking about the iRacing and stuff. If you want to cover Formula One, you're more than welcome to.
All right. This year's been Red Bull has been putting up a really good fight with Mercedes this year. More than what I expected at the beginning of the year. It might be the end of Mercedes' dominance since 2014 when they took over from Red Bull.
Yeah, I know that. Uh-oh, John, where'd you go, buddy?
I think his phone might have died. He did the same thing. He had a copy.
Like brother, right?
Yes, sir. Exactly.
Yeah, Xavier, I agree with you. Like, I'm so surprised that Mercedes isn't up at the top like that.
Yeah.
Me, I've been my driver. He ain't really doing much this year. I'm a big fan of Mick Schumacher.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we can get you on the show again some other time, Xavier. Gentlemen, great chatting with y'all.
Oh yeah, it's always fun.
Yeah. Right. John Austin, if you guys want to sign off, you can. I'll see you guys next week, and I'm going to just finish up with Xavier right here. We're just going to close out the show.
All right, I was going to say if One thing to look for this week is we do backwards pit stops at Road America. So
Oh, speaking of Road America, not only Decker's racing Road America, and so is and Boris Said's also raced too. I'm not sure what quite team Boris Said's racing in yet.
So it should be fun.
Yes, sir.
I'm ready to see the
Cup
guys.
Series, Cup at Road America. It's crazy. Chase Elliott's my favorite to win.
Yeah, that's about right. He should have.
Yeah.
He should be there.
Yeah, you really can't go against Elliott when it comes to road courses.
No, not at all. But y'all have a good night. And it's been a pleasure as always.
Yep. Until next week. See you guys.
See you.
All right, Xavier. So, do you have any thoughts for the remaining of the F1 season before we sign off?
Well,
No,
I really got not many thoughts, but
that's okay.
it's definitely going to be a fight to the end between
Mhm.
Mercedes and Red Bull. But Mercedes is really going to need to step it up if they're going to beat Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez
Mhm.
with that Red Bull team. And
I agree.
I think this may be the last season we see Valtteri in that Mercedes. I don't
Yeah,
think
Lewis.
Lewis is going to
Mhm.
stay.
Oh yeah.
No way Mercedes is going to release Lewis.
Right. I mean, he's got them he's got them all these championships the last 4 years or so.
Lewis won in 2014, 2015, 2017, 2018, 2019, and last year for Mercedes.
Mhm.
2016 was Nico Rosberg.
Mhm.
Which there's a good documentary on YouTube about that.
Mhm. Well, buddy, what's the next race?
I
Where are
think
they
the
at?
next race is this weekend. Part
Oh,
2 at the Red Bull Ring.
all right. Race number 2. All right.
The Austrian Grand Prix.
All right. Well, I will definitely have you on there. Hopefully you don't have any hopefully get your camera issues fixed for next. I'd like to have you on and we can chat. You can chime in about F1, any other racing that you like. You're more than welcome to chime in about it, okay?
All right.
All right. See you later.
See ya.
Yeah. All right, guys. This has been Race Talk. Until next time, have a good night, guys.